it's me, Chris Kelly. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the city of Rochester Hills, Michigan. And normally I'm here live on Wednesdays, but today I'm on vacation, so I pre-recorded this video for you. And I'm going to share two cards that were actually part of our Creativity Club in July using the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set or bundle. It has these great dies that go with it. They're so pretty. And some of them will cut out the images. They're stamped images, and some are just going to be decorations to go along with them, some leaves. And this is one of those stamp sets that has sentiments along with these beautiful images. And it also has some coordinating paper. And isn't this beautiful? They're just like watercolor. They're like beautiful scenery images on one side, and then just watercolor on the back. These are so pretty. I love that peacock. I think it might be my favorite. But this one just kind of reminds me of a frosted over window in the winter time. They're just beautiful papers. So this month we focused on those along with the bundle and these beautiful blooming pearls. They come in pink and gold and then kind of a green and a peacock. Absolutely beautiful. They are adhesive back. And also some of the basic beige bordered ribbon. It's a 3/8 inch bordered ribbon. And as part of club, you got a half a pack of the designer series paper, a spool of thread, and a whole pack of the blooming pearls. So let's jump right in and get started here. This is our first card. And I started out with a piece of old olive that's cut 4 1/4 by 11. And I scored the 11-inch side at 5 1/2. And I'm just going to burnish that score line and make sure it's down there nice and good. So we have that nice crisp fold. Here's a piece of basic beige that goes on the inside of our card. And it is 5 by 3 3/4. And I've cut a little piece of designer series paper that's 3 3/4 by 3/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal and put this little piece of designer series paper right at the bottom. I'm going to leave about a 1/16 of a little inch showing down there. And then I'm going to attach this to the inside of my card using just regular Stampin' Seal adhesive. I'm going to trim. I can see I have like a tiny, tiny little bit there. It is just sticking over the edge. So I'm just going to trim that off a little bit. And this is going to be the inside of my card. Isn't that paper just gorgeous? I love that. All of those blues and greens together. So pretty. So then I've taken a piece of old olive that is 5 1/4 by 3 3/4, and I embossed it with the Fern embossing folder. Okay, so these pieces are going to line up. I cut it into strips that were 5 1/4 by 1 1/4. So I have 3 strips that are 5 1/4 by 1 1/4, and I'm just going to put adhesive on the top of these for right now, and it will make sense to you in just a minute why I'm just putting it on the top. And I am going to keep them lined up. I'm just going to kind of set them on there right now. And by lined up, I mean so that they still have the pattern from where they were embossed. So you can see those embossing lines are going to line right up. I'm going to get them on there where I want them. So they're all nice and straight. And then I'm just going to push down the tops of these. And then I'm going to take a piece of basic beige ribbon. I'm going to cut it probably about 5 1/2 inches. I'm going to attach it to the back of these pieces, and that's why I left them up like that, so I didn't adhere them down. I'm just going to take some glue dots, and I'm just going to put them right on the back of my basic beige ribbon. Okay, and then I'm going to come about 1/2 inch up, and I'm just going to attach that ribbon behind there. I want to do that on both sides. There we go. And then I'm going to come back in with my Stampin' Seal, and I got that one stuck down to my card base. I'm just going to put a little piece of Stampin' Seal underneath these strips. I'm going to make sure they're all lined up, and I'm going to adhere them down. Oh, I got that on there very crooked. I'm just going to bring that down a little bit. That piece is giving me a little bit of a headache, so I'm going to get the rest of these situated here. There we go. Make sure it's nice and straight. And pull this one straight across. There we go. Okay. So that allows me to put my ribbon underneath those pieces and still get them where I want them. So next I've taken a piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock and I cut it 3.5 by 3.5. I'm going to put that down right kind of in my top left corner. So it's going to kind of go right up there. I'm going to do that so I have lots of room for a sentiment over here. This one is kind of sticking up and bothering me. There we go. I'll get it back down. I'm going to take a little more ribbon here, and I'm going to do about 3.5 inches. I'm just going to slide that under my beige ribbon, and I'm going to tie it in a knot. So we're not doing a faux bow or anything like that. I'm just going to put it in a little knot right there. There we go. And I'm going to put a little tiny glue dot. Well, I guess I'll wait until I get it completed here. I should have my little die cut piece. Well, I guess I don't have my little die cut piece. Okay, so I'm going to take a piece of Basic Beige. Hold on just 1 second, and I will grab it. I get these baskets all together, and then I start taking out little things that I need. And so I'm going to come in with a piece of scrap Basic Beige, and I am going to stamp my sentiment on it using Old Olive ink, and I'm going to use the Thinking of You Fondly stamp. I'm going to stamp that on my Basic Beige, and then I'm going to bring in a die cut from my Perennial Postage stamp set. Now, if you purchase the kits this month, your die cuts are already done for you and are part of your kit. All you have to do is cut your designer series paper. And I do that so that you have some kind of a choice as to which pieces of paper you want to use. So I'm going to bring in my little handy dandy mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I am going to cut this out. We're going to die cut it. And I'm I'm just going to put that right on there. And this is a 1, a 2, my cardstock, my die, and your die is going to go with the cutting edge down towards your cardstock. I'm going to put a little piece of Post-it tape on there to hold it tight. And I'm going to put another number 2 plate on top. And that is your cutting sandwich with your base or your little mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I put my hand on the top so that it has a little more stability as it goes through the machine. And that machine folds up nice and small. And it's light, so it's easy to carry. It is like a staple for me. And I always keep this little Post-it tape because you can use it more than once. So I'm going to put my Perennial postage die back here. If you guys don't have these dies, they are a must too. They are so cool. And I love a rectangle die, so that makes it super fun for me. I'm going to put this on with some mini Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm going to use the mini ones because I want it on the top and the bottom so that it'll stick right on that ribbon. So I'm just going to cut the edges of my mini Stampin' Dimensionals and put those on. And then I'm going to actually cut a little piece off here again and put it on this other edge. There we go. So the whole thing is going to stand up where I have my ribbon. And you can move that little bow or faux bow or not, whatever you want to call it, wherever you want it. So I'm just going to put my sentiment right there. And then I'm just going to kind of twist my bow a little bit. And then I'm going to put a little glue dot under it to stop it from moving around all over on my card. So I'm just going to take a little glue dot and not put it on my sentiment, but put it right under that knot so I can kind of flatten that out. There we go. I'm going to trim up the edges here. And I'm going to take one of these Blooming Pearls, and I'm going to use kind of this mossy meadow one and put it right on the left corner of my sentiment there. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to use this piece of DSP, and I think that's the back side that I put inside, but I think I'm going to use this one on the outside. And I do think I'm going to pop it up on some dimensionals. So this is just a really quick, easy, sometimes, you know, we need that little emergency sympathy card, or I'm thinking of you. And this is just a really quick, easy way to make a really elegant card. I'm just going to take my dimensionals off here. This paper is so gorgeous, and it makes this whole process so easy because the paper does all of the work for you. So I'm just going to put that on there, just like that. There we go. How fun is that? You have a great embossing folder for the texture in the background and that beautiful leaf. So pretty. And this one I did with a different pattern of paper. It's a little bit lighter, so you can kind of see the difference in the papers. Let's get them down here so you can see. Absolutely gorgeous card. Super easy, quick, fun. So this one's going to be a little bit of a fun fold with one of the new in colors. It's the new Petunia Pop in color, and it is so pretty. Let me just get all of my pieces out here. I know I dropped one. There we go. So we're going to start off with a piece of Petunia Pop that is going to be, it is 5.5 by 8.5, so it's your regular card size Petunia Pop. And I've scored it at 2 inches. Let's go the opposite way on it. I'm going to score it at 4 1/4, at 3 3/4, and at 2. So when you get it on your paper cutter, you're going to be 2, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, 4 1/4. Okay? So what this is going to do is we're going to fold it on this score line, which is your 4 1/4 score line. We're going to fold back on that 3 3/4 score line. And then we're going to fold back on the 2-inch score line, okay? And then we have some basic beige cardstock. And it is it's 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. And we're going to attach just this left edge to the left edge of the little folded card base. So we're going to take that little 2-inch score line fold that we have, and we're going to put this right on top of it. So it's going to look just like that. Okay? And then we have another piece of basic beige cardstock that is 5 1/4 by 2 1/4. And this is going to be part of the inside of our card. Okay, so we're going to put that in here. And I'm not going to, actually what I'm going to do is put it right on the edge of here. So I'm just going to line it up with that right hand edge and then attach it. So that this piece of basic beige will cover it, but when you open it up, you'll be able to see it. Okay? Then I have a piece of Designer Series paper that is 5 1/4 by 3 1/2. Okay? So it's going to go together just like this. So this piece is 2 inches. I'm sorry, this piece is 3 1/2 inches, this piece is 1/2 inch, and this piece is 2 inches. So we're going to take this 2-inch piece, we're going to keep these all lined up because we want you to see that beautiful scene when you open up your card. So we're going to put this, we're going to butt it right up to, it's going to cover about 1/4 inch of that basic beige cardstock. Okay, then we have 3/4 inch here that we've scored. So we're going to take this little 1/2 inch piece of Designer Series paper. This is kind of a little binding edge maybe, right in the middle of our card. So we're going to lay it open and we're going to put this right in the middle of it. Okay, and then we're going to close it up. And this piece is going to go centered right on top of our basic beige. And again, this is a super quick and easy card for you to do that's really going to get a wow. Just because this Designer Series paper is so wow, right? So when you open it up your card, it's going to look like this. Isn't it gorgeous? I just love it. And you can write a sentiment here, or you can stamp a sentiment here, however you want to do it. But we're going to take this little piece of basic beige and some Petunia Pop ink. And I'm going to use the words Dearest Friend. And this also comes from the Thoughtful Journey stamp set. There we go. I got it too close to the top, so I'm going to bring it down. There we go. I can live with that one. And I'm going to take a piece of this basic beige ribbon, the 3/8 inch bordered, and I cut it in half. Okay, so I have about 6 inches that I've cut in half, and I'm actually just going to fray it. And by cutting it in half, you're going to get just the kind of right width that you want for this little bow. That's going to be a little more than I want, so I'm going to take about a half of that. And you can always save it. Save this for another little card that you want to make. I'm just going to put a little piece of adhesive on here, and I'm going to make like a figure 8 with this ribbon, and I'm going to press it down into my adhesive. Okay, so we're just going to take it, the frayed ribbon, and make a small figure 8 with it, pressing it down into our adhesive. Okay, I'm going to take my dearest friend, and I'm just going to cut the edges and give them kind of a little angled cut on both ends. And I can see I want this up a little bit higher. So I'm just going to peel that off there. I'm going to peel the whole thing off there and start over with the extra. And be sure I'm actually going to set my sentiment right there, so I can be sure I'm going to get the right size on this one. So I'm just going to fray a little bit more of that ribbon. And we'll start this over, making our little figure 8. And just pressing it down in there. And I'm going to actually, once I have that part done, I'm going to put my words on there and make sure that I'm going big enough. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put my words up on some little mini dimensionals. That's that first side where I went way up way too high. So I'm going to just put my dimensionals right on there. And then take them back, and you guys can see this is really a wow card. It's super easy. I think we did both of these cards in a half an hour, which is like really cool when you don't have a whole day to spend making a card, but you want it to look like you spent a day making it, right? Okay, I'm just going to trim this up just a tad. You don't have to worry if they're all the same length or not. I think that sometimes going a different length helps out. Okay, I think for this one, I'm actually going to use these little gold dots. And I think I'm going to do one here. I'm going to use all little ones, I think. And here. And then up here on the end. And I made this one almost exactly like the sample that I did for class. There we go. Okay, so you have that. And you really, I don't want to put too much on it because I want you to be able to see all that beautiful, beautiful paper. So we have a little, there we go. So you have that basic beige bordered ribbon, and then these blooming pearls, and this really super fun fold. Isn't that cool? I really like that fun fold. And then this one, I used the blue kind of beads on it. And they're both really pretty. So So these are the 2 cards we made today. Thanks for tuning in, you guys, and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye.